Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colleges That Change Lives virtual college fair. We're so excited to have you all here this evening. Before we kick things off, I do just want to give you a general overview of this session. We have 45 minutes here today. We have 4 wonderful institutions here to share a little bit more about what they do. Each of them will have 9 minutes to present. I do encourage you to ask your questions throughout the next 45 minutes. Do not save your questions until the end of the session. The college representatives are here. They're eager and ready to answer your questions. So if you have questions about any of the institutions, even during presentations, please feel more than free to send those through that Q&A button you see down at the bottom of your screen. Your camera and microphone are off and they'll remain off throughout the full session. So really that Q&A is your best way to interact with our college representatives tonight. A reminder that there are more sessions occurring in the next 2 hours, so feel free to check those out and sign up to check out other institutions if you haven't already. And once again, a reminder that this session is being recorded and that recording will be available within the next week at strivescan.com/CTCL. And so before we kick things off here, if you give me 1 second, we will get started with a very brief presentation from the Colleges That Change Lives. So give me a moment to share my screen.
Good evening. My name is Christine Bowman, and I serve as the chair of the Board of Directors of Colleges That Change Lives. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to our event tonight, and I hope you enjoy engaging over the next 2 days with our member institutions to learn more about who we are and the exciting opportunities available at our institution. As an organization, Colleges That Change Lives is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit that is dedicated to the advancement and support of a student-centered college admission process. We support the goal of each student finding a college that develops a lifelong love of learning and provides a foundation for a successful and fulfilling life beyond college. In addition, we push back on the media frenzy that surrounds college admission. We help families de-stress the process and really hope that you will enjoy getting to know institutions and a little bit more about yourself. We want you to look beyond the rankings to see that each college has unique attributes and values that can help you grow and learn in your college experience. We believe in the liberal arts and we speak to the benefits of this type of learning in the college environment. And most importantly, as an organization, we support our member institutions in their activities to successfully welcome students to their college every semester. As an organization, we are 44 member colleges proud. 42 of us are private and 2 are public liberal arts and sciences institutions. We are located in 25 states and have an average enrollment of just over 1,500 students. Now, you may be asking, what is the liberal arts and why should I look at this type of learning in my college search process? Well, the liberal arts are neither about politics nor specifically about fine arts. The term arts is used in the sense of learning across multiple disciplines. And here we're talking about the natural sciences, the social sciences, the fine arts, and the humanities. And within liberal arts colleges, traditionally what you will find is the opportunity to deep dive into a core curriculum of interdisciplinary courses and learning. You will traditionally find small discussion-based courses and classrooms, professors who teach, or when they research, choose to engage their students in their research opportunities. Institutions that provide opportunities beyond just the in-class learning experience, things like study abroad, internships, community engaged learning, and research are all ways in which students can grow and learn. And finally, liberal arts colleges often provide the opportunity to pursue multiple majors, interdisciplinary majors, or paired majors for that student that has more than one passion that they just don't want to give up. And this is really important because we believe that the liberal arts is an education for a lifetime. Outside of the class or in conjunction with your classroom learning, we know that at a liberal arts institution, you're also going to develop these important skills: creative thinking, interdisciplinary thinking, communication skills, both written and verbalizing, working with small groups and large groups, solving complex problems, as well as developing leadership skills and the ability to be a supporter in a journey for all individuals. And while in the beginning this might not seem important, as you continue in your life, this shows an incredible amount of influence because these are the skills that employers are looking for and endorse when they are thinking about hiring individuals. So the Association of the American Colleges and Universities worked with a broad group of employers to try to ascertain what is really important in the individuals that you hire. And it was resounding that of the skills that rose to the top, many of these were not specific to a major or to a particular trade, but were really encouraging people to develop lifelong skills that could be required and used across multiple disciplines. Things like we just talked about, communication skills, problem solving, creativity. The reason why is employers can teach you how to have knowledge about the business, but they can't teach you these skills on the spot. And when they're looking to hire, these are very important competencies that they are looking for in the individuals that they interview and ultimately make offers to. So we believe that this is an enhancement to the liberal arts degree, is that it not only teaches you knowledge, but it helps you have these skills that can take you not only into your first job, but to jobs further on down the line. Sometimes a private school investment makes individuals a little nervous, and we understand that price tag may look large, but the return on investment can be incredible. And the Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce shows that the return on investment for liberal arts education is nearly $200,000 higher than the median for all colleges. And that 40-year return on investment over a lifetime of employment, the return on liberal arts institution is close to those of engineering schools as well as business schools. So you don't have to attend one of those specific institutions to see a lifelong opportunity for engaged learning, engaged contributions to the community, and return on investment. So I hope this information is helpful for you as you begin your journey over the next couple of evenings. If you would like to learn more about colleges that change lives and our member institutions, we hope you'll visit our webpage. And know that we have recently updated to add a college search feature amongst our institutions. So if you're looking for a specific major, opportunity to participate in athletics or a particular region of the country, we have a way in which you can get to know us better. Thank you for joining us and have a great evening.
Wonderful. So now that each of you have a little bit of background on CTCL as an organization and as a group, we'll go ahead and head on over to our individual institutional presentations. So first, you'll hear from Beloit College.
Good afternoon, evening, morning. I don't know where you are, right? But here in the Midwest, it is 4:09 p.m. in the afternoon. My name is Karen Smith, and I am the Midwest Regional Admission Manager for Beloit College in Beloit, Wisconsin. Like so many of the other CTCL schools, we are indeed a private liberal arts college. We are 175 years old. Fun fact, Beloit College was actually established before the state of Wisconsin was chartered and before the city of Beloit was founded. So we have grown up, everything has grown up around us. We are located right on the Illinois-Wisconsin border, which means we are 90 minutes north of Chicago. Public transportation from O'Hare Airport to Beloit. We are 50 minutes south of Madison, Wisconsin, which is the state capital, and 60 minutes west of Milwaukee, so the largest city in the state of Wisconsin. Responding to the pandemic last spring was a challenge that none of us could anticipate. At Beloit, we quickly determined that not only were we not going to be stymied by this, but that COVID would serve as a catalyst to create an even better experience for our students. The result was the Beloit Action Plan, a suite of academic, personal and financial support programs that we quickly launched for our community. And we didn't only create a better experience for our students, we did it with them. And it was a strong group of students that convinced us that the best way to succeed at being on campus in person was to allow our students to be the experts on how this would work best. The result was a realistic and safe set of behavioral guidelines developed by students for students and delivered from students to students and to the entire Beloit community. And it's worked. The vast majority of our students have studied safely and successfully on campus all year, which is pretty cool. We are a place that's built on and supported by collaborative relationships. As you can see, we are a very diverse community. As a matter of fact, we've been identified as the most diverse per capita college in the state of Wisconsin. We're diverse both in identities and interests. We have small classes, personal attention, creative areas of study, and ways to study. And you'll see on this slide some demographics about our student body, some of our most popular majors, and the notion, well, the fact that really almost 40% of our students ultimately double major. Most students come to Beloit as multi-interested students who can take full advantage of academic and extracurricular opportunities that transcend any one major. We are fortunate to have a brand new 125,000 square foot student center / fitness center that serves as the hub for all kinds of student activity. Our one-year-old powerhouse facility is actually just that, a repurposed, long abandoned coal energy generating plant that was situated just adjacent to Beloit College, which is also adjacent to downtown Beloit. And on the Rock River, which is a major tributary running through the city of Beloit and walkable distance from the campus. As I mentioned before, we're a community built on relationships. Through our advanced mentoring program, students are matched with a faculty mentor within 3 days of committing to Beloit, so while they're still in high school. Advisors work with students on transitioning from high school to Beloit College. A student's advisory group becomes their first circle of peers that they start to get to know even before arriving at Beloit. And the AMP program guides students through making the best of their college experience and planning for the future over the course of their first 2 years. Then, as students' focus develops, they will choose a career channel or two designed to help broaden expertise, professional connections in an area of focus such as those listed on the screen. Channels transcends majors and promotes learning from various perspectives. Channels activities involve internships, job shadowing, resume building, interviewing, and ultimately career success after Beloit. Here you'll see some information about our admissions standards. In general, students being admitted to Beloit are pretty solid B students in high school, taking some honors and some AP coursework or IB coursework. We have an acceptance rate of about 58%, 60% of the students who apply to Beloit. We are a member of the Common Application. We do have our own application housed online, but the Common Application is often the much more efficient way to go. We practice comprehensive application review, holistic review. The piece of information receiving the greatest emphasis is the student's transcript, followed very quickly by their essay, letters of recommendation, extracurricular activities, and I love saying that we are proudly and historically test optional. This is something that we have experience with, we believe very strongly in, and not something that we have put together simply as a result of the pandemic. We are welcoming on campus, one family at a time visits right now, and we anticipate being able to do that for the rest of the spring and all summer. We are having an in-person graduation. It was just announced yesterday, which seems unreal, but exciting. and I would love to talk with you more at any point. My contact information is here. Yeah, it's very nice to meet you, and I'm going to pass this off to Clark College.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about Beloit. Before we head over to Clark, I do want to make a quick plug for that Q&A you see down at the bottom of your screen. We're starting to see some questions roll in. Don't forget that you do not need to save your questions until the end of the session. You can send those at any point. So if you have questions about Beloit or about any of the institutions you're about to hear from, don't forget about that Q&A. From here, we'll head on over to Clark University.
Great, thank you, Isabella. Hi, everybody. My name is Lydia Mann, and I'm the Director of Admissions Outreach at Clark University. I have to start sharing this correctly. I just want to thank you for joining us. I know that you do a lot of stuff online these days, and the fact that you're spending a better part of an hour with us, I'm really, really grateful. So thank you. So who is Clark? We are actually one of the smallest research universities in the United States. However, the way that we approach our undergraduate curriculum is very much through a liberal arts lens. So we're really the best of both, a research university with a liberal arts curriculum available to you. We are located in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's hard to pronounce, easy to love. We are the second largest city in New England, only after Boston, where we're about 45 minutes west of Boston. It's an easy train ride there if you'd like to go. I love the city of Worcester. Clark would not be Clark without Worcester, and I'll talk more about that as we get further along in the presentation. Again, smallest research university, so 2,200 undergrads. You're going to start with about 600 students in your freshman class. Because we are a research university, we do have graduate students on campus. There are about 800 of them. We were founded in 1887 actually as a graduate school only in psychology. And we have transitioned to a strong undergrad program, but psychology remains a really popular major for our undergrads. About 40 states in each class, 27 countries, about 15% of our students are international. 28% of our students identify as domestic students of color. All different majors and interests on campus, and most of our students are going to start as undecided. 65% of our students receive some form of financial aid, and over 20% of our students are Pell eligible. Clark University is a place where modern rocketry, wind chill, and birth control were all researched and discovered. So really exciting things going on academically here. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit about academics. Our curriculum is run by LEAP, Liberal Education and Effective Practice. This was a really well-researched endeavor by members of our psychology department about 10 years ago, and we've been slowly putting it into effect ever since. They looked at the most successful Clark graduates and said, what are the experiences that those people had, and how do we get them to every single Clark graduate? And success was defined in different ways. So yes, you can define success by money and career outcomes, but you can also define success by how happy you were with your undergraduate experience and how happy you are in life afterwards. And so they used a lot of different metrics, mixed them all together, and they figured out that these are 4 academic experiences everybody had. One is that they were really close to faculty mentors on campus. And so we developed the first year intensive. This is a lot like a first year seminar on other campuses. You're going to take a class with about 15 students and 1 professor around a table, subject of your choice. Kind of unique to Clark is that professor is your first advisor at Clark. So not only your first advisor isn't just somebody you've had coffee with and meet with once in a while, but it's somebody who's seen you in the classroom. So they can really help advise you into things that you might want to pursue in the future. The second thing we saw, and this speaks to CTCL's mission, is that students who took a very well-rounded curriculum felt more confident going into the workplace as problem solvers. We are better scientists if we understand art. We are better artists if we understand math. We need to use our left and our right brains at all times. So the program of liberal studies is going to ask you to take some classes in different subject areas that you can see on your screen, and there's a lot of choice around what you might do. They also found that students who had real-world experiences while they were in college felt more confident going into a workforce where they might fail at something, try again, and do really, really well. So we developed pop courses. Before coming to Clark, I was a college counselor at a boarding school in New England. I saw almost 80 different college campuses in 4 years in that job. I had never seen a school engage with the community the way that Clark engages with Worcester, and one of these ways is through POP courses. The faculty member commits to taking your learning outside of the classroom. So in environmental science class, you might test water quality for the city of Worcester. I live here, that's important to me. You might do land surveillance for one of the wonderful green areas nearby. If you're in a high-level French class, 20% of the people in Worcester are actually born outside of the United States, so a really international city. You might work with Senegalese refugees going through the immigration process, translating court documents, and then going to court with that person for their immigration hearing to help translate anything they don't understand. So really high stakes learning that's going to make a difference in our communities and our world. And then the fourth experience they found was that students who felt like they had some sort of tough culminating challenge at the end of their undergraduate program felt like they really learned what they needed to learn in college. So the capstone was developed, and you can choose what you want to do. You can involve an internship, you can do research, you can take a capstone course with some classmates, but you're just going to have some culminating experience in your major. Now, if we were at a live college fair and you asked me what's unique about Clark, this is what I would tell you. It's our 5th year accelerated master's program. I call it the 5th year free. So I mentioned Research University, we have graduate students on campus. We will actually, if you do your 4 years of undergraduate study at Clark, allow you to apply to one of the master's programs that you see on your screen right now as a junior. If you are accepted, you will start taking master's level courses in your senior year. We ask you, you get to graduate with your class, have all the pomp and circumstance, family gets to come. We're going to ask you to stay for 1 consecutive year though, to earn your master's degree, and it's totally tuition free. And this is not just to the top 10 students in the class or anything like this. 1 in 3 Clark students takes advantage of this program. So 1 in 3 of those 2,200 are actually earning a free master's degree through our program. So talk about return on investment, but also just talk about a love of learning and a student body who wants to stick around for a 5th year and see what's going on. So that is a really exciting opportunity that you might not be thinking of yet, but might be meaningful down the road. Student life. So here at Clark, we've got 17 NCAA Division III teams. Our newest one is women's lacrosse. It started 2 years ago. All of our athletic teams they do community service in some way throughout their season. So the swim team actually teaches young children how to swim at the YMCA nearby. Men's basketball participates in a program called Books Before Basketball. They read books with young kids in the neighborhood, and then after they're done reading and having some reading lessons, they get to play basketball together. So if you are an athlete here, you're going to be contributing your passion for athletics in lots of different ways. You are required to live on campus at Clark in your first 2 years. However, we're a city, so if in junior year or senior year you want to explore, feel free. Most students live within 6 blocks of campus anyway, but you can try renting if you'd like. We've got 136 plus clubs and organizations. Our Model UN team placed first last year in a worldwide competition. They're extremely strong, and they still let anybody who wants to learn with them. To a beekeeping club, where you can actually keep bees and sell the honey at farmers markets. To a club that was started during the pandemic, where new students who didn't know a lot of people on campus could use a phone app to figure out who they wanted to eat with outdoors. So lots of different things to get involved in. And you can explore the city of Worcester. It's a really fun city. There's a vibrant kind of underground art scene, vibrant restaurant scene, and a new minor league stadium being built that'll be finished this spring. And finally, here's all of our admissions information, so you can see all the deadlines there. We do require 1 teacher rec. However, I know many of you will get 2. Please feel free to send us both. We need all of your high school transcripts. We recommend an interview. We think it allows you time to share other sides of yourself that might not be in the paper application. At a Clark interview, come dressed in whatever you're comfortable in and get ready to talk about the things you love the most. It should be a really positive experience. And we also are test optional. So thank you very much. And I'm glad you were able to join me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lydia, for sharing a little bit more about Clark University. From here, we'll head on over to Lawrence University. Oops, and it seems like we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That, believe it or not, that's the first time that has happened to me in a year. But my name is Brianna Barkin, and I'm an Associate Director of Admission at Lawrence University in Appleton, Wisconsin. I will tell you a little bit about Appleton and where we are. So we are in Northwest Wisconsin. We are about 2 to 3 hours from both Milwaukee and Chicago areas. We are in a part of Wisconsin called the Fox Valley, and we are kind of the central cultural hub for the entire region, which is really exciting. The city of Appleton has about 75,000 people that live there, and the greater metro area that does include Green Bay, so a lot of Packer fans in the area, is about 250,000 people. I am regionally based in Los Angeles, California. So behind me is a picture of campus actually, and right across from where I am sitting is downtown Appleton. There's about a mile and a half of restaurants and shops and really anything that you could need while you're on campus. We are lucky enough to have a performing arts center that does get a full Broadway season every year. 2 Octobers ago, Hamilton was in town and our students could get rush tickets for about $25. And I was really jealous about that. And so hopefully next year, the Broadway season will be back. We do have the Appleton International Airport. It is only 6 miles, 10-minute drive from campus. It's really easy for students to get in and out. You can also fly, of course, to Chicago or Milwaukee and drive a little bit farther if your parents are coming with you. But going into Appleton is really easy. I've done it from LAX and SFO and Seattle and Burbank Airport, actually. You just have one little layover, and then you can hop on over to Appleton and be in our downtown really easily. So back to Lawrence. We are a small liberal arts college with about 1,500 students on campus. We are a university, even though we have no graduate students, because we have 2 degree granting institutions on campus. We have both the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and a Conservatory of Music. We do also have a 5-year double degree program for students who want to earn both a Bachelor of Music and a Bachelor of Arts in 5 years. About a quarter of our students are majoring within the conservatory, and about half of those students are actually pursuing the double degree program. So music is a big part of campus life, and on any given night, we do have about 3 musical performances happening on campus. So your roommate might be a musician, or you might be a musician, and cheering each other on. And while we do have music, certainly not the only thing on campus. We have a ton of Division III varsity athletics teams as well. Our newest team is women's ice hockey, but our fencing team is also really awesome. And we do have a football team. We have about 40 different majors in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and the most popular major right now is actually biology. And it's really exciting. Last year, we had a 100% placement rate into medical school for students who met the med school average. So that's students who had about a B plus average in the classroom and about an 80th percentile on the MCAT. 100% of those students were accepted into medical school, which was really, really exciting. Our students are majoring all across the board, though it's certainly not only music or biology. Our students are majoring in English, and this year, I think the most popular major I saw in applications this year was for creative writing, which is one of our new majors. So definitely a lot of liberal arts interest as well in that. And we want students to have experiences outside of campus, outside of the classroom as well. So we actually do have 3 campuses, the one in Appleton that is right behind me. And then we have one campus in Bjork, London, which is a retreat center on Lake Michigan. Most students go about 1 weekend per term. We have 3 terms on the trimester system, and students can go with a class, with a club, with a music ensemble, anything like that. There's no cell service there, so it's really a chance to disconnect with the real world and connect with your peers and your classmates, and that is really great. It's about a 90-minute drive from campus. And then our 3rd campus is in London, England, which is why Big Ben is up on the screen. And that is certainly the easiest way for our students to study abroad. It is our campus, so it's on our academic calendar, our tuition, our professors, our students, all of that. So it's very, very seamless, but it's certainly not the only way for students to study abroad. So if you want to go pretty much anywhere in the world, you definitely can. Emma in my office, she studied abroad in Argentina. You just have to work it out with the study abroad office before you go, just to make sure your credits will transfer back when you get back onto campus. So about a little bit of our academic program, we start our academics in first year with first year studies. Our average class size is only about 15 and our faculty to student ratio is 8:1. So our faculty really wants to get to know our students and be part of their life. And so your first year studies course is your first term and second term of your first year. It's with the same group of 15 students and a different professor each term, but the entire first year class is going through the same curriculum at the same exact time. So you'll have a unit on jazz music, a unit on literature, a unit on poetry, a unit on physics, and then at the end of each term, you'll have one culminating experience for the entire first year class. We don't have any lecture halls on campus, so it does take place in one of our auditorium spaces usually. But that's a really great experience for students, kind of a crash course into both the liberal arts and being a student at Lawrence. And then senior year, to bookend it, we do have the Chandler Senior Experience. And with that, students really take everything that they've learned over their 4 or 5 years at Lawrence and put it in to a culminating experience. Sometimes that is a written piece, sometimes it's a paper, sometimes it's a music performance. It's really however you want to show off all that you've learned that you and your advisor will agree on. Also, we do have one-on-one classes on campus. So 60% of our classes are actually one-on-one. So if there's something you want to study, but it's not offered as a formal class, if you find a professor who's willing to sponsor your class, then you can take that as a full class for one term while you are on campus. Just a little bit more about campus. We are a very residential campus. It is required to live on campus for all 4 years in a traditional year. Of course, this year with COVID, things have been a little different, but we did give all students the chance to live on campus if they wanted to. About 60% of our students did choose to live on campus, and our COVID positivity rate has been under 1% for pretty much the entire year. So I think that is really awesome that our community is so committed to taking care of each other and being there for one another. You can see a lot of the things that we have up on the screen right now, and I'll just chat a little bit about our application process. We are on the Common App, and we do have our own Lawrence application as well. We have no application fee for anybody, so you don't need to worry about that. We do require your high school transcript, which is as most schools will talk about, the most helpful thing in the application process. We require a letter of recommendation from a teacher and your counselor. We are test optional as well. We've been test optional for almost 20 years. So it's not new for us this year, and I've been really grateful for that. So no pressure if you can't take it or don't want to take it or anything like that. We have a lot of different application deadlines. The only thing it impacts is for music performance majors. There's only certain deadlines you can apply for the music faculty to have enough time to review your application, your audition material. But other than that, it does not affect admission or financial aid or scholarships. We have a very robust scholarship and financial aid program. This last summer, we met our $85 million fundraising goal to be an institution that meets full demonstrated need. So that was a really exciting thing that happened this summer. And most of our students do receive a merit-based scholarship. Our merit-based scholarships go up to about $30,000, which is roughly half of the total cost of attendance. I think I am running short on time, but if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and I am happy to answer them throughout the rest of our time together today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about Lawrence. Before we head over to our final institution, I do want to make another quick plug for our Q&A. If you have any questions about the institutions you've already heard from or about McDaniel, which you're about to hear from, don't forget that you have that Q&A option throughout the remainder of the session. So with that, we'll go ahead and pass things off to McDaniel.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Brooke Hain. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions at McDaniel. Much of the information you're going to hear about McDaniel, while there are some differences, as you've probably seen through these first three, one of the things that's great about working with CTCL schools is that there's so many similarities that we share. And so you can really look at those small niche things to figure out what works best for you. In the spirit of COVID, there are a variety of different, protocols and things like that. I'd encourage you all, if you're interested in that type of thing, to just check out our Return to the Hill webpage on our main website, and that'll give you all the ins and outs, a live ticker, all of that good stuff. But like my other friends and schools here, we have also been hybrid learning on campus since the fall. So that has been one of the true benefits, I think, of small schools, that while we need to find some spaces for some classes, we're able to be in person in a way that larger schools aren't able to be at this point in time. So some quick sort of fast facts. We are located in North Central Maryland, about 40 minutes northwest of Baltimore, about an hour northeast of DC, and about an hour directly north of Annapolis. So you are right sort of in an area where you have access to lots of internships and things to do on the weekend, but you're in more of that small town feel right in the middle of Westminster when you are on campus. Roughly 50% of our students identify as a student of color, and then about 40% of our students identify as a first generation student. So while we also represent over 40 states on campus and over 20 countries, you're going to see diversity happening in many different ways on McDaniel's campus. We are a community of 1,800 students. And we were founded as the first co-educational institution south of the Mason-Dixon line. And we maintain status of about 50-50 men and women on campus for students who choose to identify and report. We do then also have over 90% of our professors who hold that highest degree in their field. We do not have teaching assistants on campus, so you're working with those professors full-time in the classroom. And then we have 24 Division III sports. So I can talk a little bit more about some student life stuff as we head on, but those are sort of some quick facts. So again, we are 1,800 students. We cap our classes at 35 students. So even for a department like business that's very popular, you're still going to see those capped at 35. And then you're going to see that average class size also right around 15. You can see here on my screen some of our most popular programs on campus. On the left-hand side, you'll have the 5 most popular. On the right, we have some newer programs that were either built out of minors we already had on campus or were completely new. In the top 10 most popular programs, you'll also find criminal justice, social work, and environmental studies. So you see a pretty wide range of the different types of things that our students are interested in. And most of our students will end up majoring and minoring in more than one thing. A double major, a major, and a triple minor. That's pretty typical to see of our students just because of the flexibility of our curriculum. So the McDaniel plan is our core liberal arts curriculum. This is going to look very similar to that very first video that we all watched from Christine down at Southwestern, just in terms of what we look at as core requirements. I think the 2 things to note about this are that, 1, you have until the end of your senior year to complete this. So you do not need to do all this in your freshman year. There is no set first year curriculum. Instead, you are really going to be going in and starting to take classes within that area of interest. So even if you don't know what you want to major in, you probably know that you more like your English and social studies classes, or you really like STEM classes. And this gives you the chance to start taking courses within that, while also taking courses that will count toward that core curriculum. We look at these as big, broad categories, not as specific classes that students take. So each student on campus can take different things and really feel that that education is ultimately tailored to them. Now, the McDaniel commitment is this other half of our curriculum, and I think one of the things that sort of sets us apart in that this is really focused on experiential learning and helping you to understand what you do in the classroom, how that affects and contributes to life out in the greater world. This starts with a class called McDaniel Local that students take over the summer. And while this is really sort of a kickoff to orientation and really about acclimating you to the community of Westminster, giving you some time to meet the mayor of downtown and have dinner at some of the restaurants, you'll also do a 30-minute in-person advising session with a professor so that you can sit down and talk to them about where you're headed for that fall semester. In the fall, then, you are going to do 4 4-credit classes. While 3 of them you will choose, the 4th one you will choose from a first-year seminar course. This is very similar to what Lydia at Clark was talking about, and the professor for that course also acts as your first advisor. So you'll always have a professor working with you. But this is giving you special topics. So something like From Grimm to Disney, where you look at the original Grimm's Brothers tales and talk about those Disney adaptations, and helping you to understand how to write a research paper, how to pick a database in the library, those sort of soft skills that you won't just be expected to suddenly know and understand how to do 100% just because you're in college, but that you'll have some guidance for that. Oh, sorry, we went backwards there. So then my design happens in the January term. We're on a semester schedule, but we do a 3-week January term that is required for first-year students. My design is really intended to be the springboard for the rest of your time at McDaniel. So let's sit down and talk about what went well that first semester. What would you maybe like to see go differently? What are opportunities you want to take advantage of over your time at McDaniel? But this helps you to begin to understand what long-term goal setting looks like and gives you the mentorship along with that. My experience is then focused on off-campus learning. We are going to guarantee that all students have at least 2 off-campus learning experiences. That could be internships, study abroad, service learning, part-time jobs, research. It's completely up to you. We'll work with our Center for Experience and Opportunity to discover those, but we will make sure that at least 2 of them happen for you. And then my career is the bookend class for my design. So now we've done a bunch of really awesome things. You do this typically in the junior or senior year. How do we get all of that on a resume? How do you talk about it in a job interview? How do you hunt for full-time jobs? How do you apply to grad school? All of these soft skills that you will learn and know how to do. This class just really helps you to connect the dots to allow you to realize you did learn how to do those things. And again, not just expect that you're going to suddenly know how to navigate life after college, when in reality, you're getting a new job for the first time in 16 years. You've been a student for the past 16 years, and now we're moving into sort of new uncharted territory. Let's make sure you feel confident about the skills that we know that you have to do that. The last piece of the McDaniel plan then is the senior capstone project. All students will do one for each major they have. This is graduate level research at the undergraduate level, and really your chance to get super specific about what you find to be interesting within your major. Then we have our application process here. It's again, sort of same old in terms of the other schools that you've seen here. They're all pretty similar. We are on the Common App. We have our own application as well. Our middle 50% GPA is listed there. The average GPA is typically around a 3.5, and we're looking at that course rigor. The essay is also a piece that we will look at. We recommend a letter of recommendation, but it is not required. The activities resume is probably the other piece that we will look at then for that, just to sort of see how you're involved in your community and classroom. And then much like my other friends, we have also chess optional and have been so for over a decade. So that is also something that we are very adept to. If you have questions, there's my contact information. You can also find it on the website. Please feel free to reach out. I know that's fast, so happy to explain anything further. If you need to, just send me an email.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brooke, for sharing a little bit more about McDaniel as well. A reminder for everyone that this session was recorded. And so if you do have any follow-up questions for any of our representatives, you can return to the recording to find their contact info moving forward. So we'll give them we're almost out of time here. We'll give them a few more moments to answer a few of the remaining questions in the chat. But I do want to take a moment to say thank you to each of you for joining us for this session. We really appreciate all of your engagement through that Q&A throughout the session, and a big thank you to our college representatives as well. A quick note that there is a very quick 4-question survey that will appear on your screen as soon as this session ends. If you don't mind taking the extra moment to fill that out, it's very helpful for us as we continue to plan events like these moving forward. A reminder that there are additional sessions within the next 2 hours and tomorrow as well, so feel free to check those out and sign up for some others. And once again, this session was recorded and the recording will be available at strivescan.com /CTCL within the next week if you need to return to any of this information. So once again, thank you to all of you for joining. A thank you to all of our college representatives, and we hope that all of you have a wonderful evening.